Welcome back to another sketch with me. Grab your sketchbook, your paper, your pencils, I don't give a shit. We're gonna sketch together. Yay! Now, of course, like always, I have some scrap sketches that I want to put in my sketchbook, so we're gonna pick up this, like, kind of rough piece of a bit of storyline for BU and hopefully add it in. Of course, this is for the BU book. I do have another sketchbook. I don't know, it's a very casual book. Kind of think I want this, like, there. And I made this little bit recently from scrap paint that I didn't want to waste, so I think that'll look good in here. So this is one of BU's, like, drafted story bits. I think there's a lot of good panels in here that I can emulate or redraw even. So let's start with a layout there. This is of her sleeping. I almost want to keep that. It's kind of big though. What if I did? There you go. It's less big now, but it still has those cool edges. Could do like just enough to have that red between pop out. Her eye stuff could go like down there. And do I want to do the window scene or do I just want to redraw that? I think I might redraw that and make that the centerpiece. We'll leave this for another page. Okay, let's glue and tape down what we can, and we'll move on later. So recently I posted a video on the unicorn back there. He's a little out of frame, but he is there and I'm priming him and excited to paint him. No one really watched those, but that's alright. I didn't expect people to. This channel started with sketchbooking, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be its most popular trait for a while, just because it's an easy thing to like. Also, that unicorn video was super long, but I'm excited to paint him. I'm thinking I'm actually going to paint him as like a mechanical zebra, which sounds pretty fun to me. That's not going to stick with glue. That's going to need tape. Yeah. I haven't really been drawing a lot in my sketchbooks recently, which sucks. I love my sketchbooks, and I don't want to stop drawing in them. So I've been trying to get back into it, but it's the BU book is getting ridiculous. Like, it's kind of, I'm not even halfway through, and it's kind of hard. I can't close it anymore. That's the TLDR. It can't be closed. I'm excited for when that book is done because it's going to be one hell of a sketchbook tour, but it's also a long way away. However, recently I did come in to find more of the same type of sketchbook that I used for the BU book, which means I can actually start creating my sketchbooks for my other OCs, their individual sketchbooks, and that is going to be very fun because that means we're going to have to paint the covers together. And I know I love cover painting. I also haven't really painted on this channel before, and I am not the best painter, but I am not the worst painter. So you know what? I'll go for mediocrity. It's okay. Still trying to stick to that. I only show you guys the one side of the sketchbook for the BU book, and I probably will do that for the upcoming books of my other OCs. The first one I will likely do is Asher. He is very fun. And the thing is with the other sketchbooks, they're probably going to be a lot harder than BU's because BU is a character who has a massive color palette and kind of almost undefined aesthetic and how much she loves just everything. She's a maximalist to her core, and that's why I love her. Because it's just very easy to make things for her. But my other characters actually have color schemes and aesthetics they stick to. So those sketchbooks are actually going to have more of like a consistent vibe. I guess maximalism is a consistent vibe. BU's sketchbook is constantly covered in color. But you know what I mean. Okay. Actually, I'll probably have this here because I want to redraw this scene. This is her looking out her window and being bored as hell. Oh, BU, girly, how I get you. First color I pulled today was like lighter, which is always good. I like when I pull yellows or very light colors because that means I can sort of sketch without using pencil and all that. So if I want, let's go for this area as her window. Ignore the massive thumping in the background. Who is doing that? Because I sure as hell don't know. Oh, you can't even fucking see that on the camera. It's whatever. It'll get more clear as we go. What have you guys, I want to hear about your universes. I love hearing about people's OC stories and like just the things they're creating. I am a massive lover of world building. I mean, Either Or has so much world building that it's honestly a bit ridiculous. Like, I have a lot of the functionalities down, and it's kind of one of my favorite things ever. I just love world building. It makes me so happy. I don't want to go with these curtains. I want to go with like little curtains, like grandma curtains. But that, oh, and then I can do halfway curtains that go down to like the floor. And these ones are going to be like transparent. Yes, I don't know if you've ever seen that style. If you've gone to The Sims, you have. Just a little bit. You know? Yeah, I like that. And it frames this out really nicely. Okay, base sketch is kind of done. I didn't put BU in there yet, but we'll put her in with the next one. I just kind of did the background area. I'm working on a mini model of BU's house right now, like her house post-story, because her house pre-story is a random suburban home that I don't really care to make. But I am working on her, like, Bender side house, and it is a blast. I love minis. I love making miniatures. I kind of wish my unicorn video got more views, because that would give me an excuse to make more minis. I'm still gonna do them, because, you know, I don't listen to anyone. So, gonna make mini videos if whether or not they get views. I love it. It's way too fun. Yeah, just crouch her here. Feet are hard to draw. And then people make fun of you when you try to study feet, because feet are weird to draw apparently as well. Shut up, I'm gonna draw feet. There we go, that's a start. Probably go here and start drawing the window panes. Yeah, please tell me about your universes though. I love hearing about people's creativity. It's so interesting and fun, and it's probably like my favorite thing. Normally when I'm just working on like just art projects that I'm not recording or don't need voiceover for from like the video itself, I'll be watching someone make art because that's the funnest thing I can do with my time. Oh, I didn't even plan to have a window there. It just appeared. But I like that. Do a little mini window in the window. Oh, mini window! Not mini mirror. Mini window. Much cuter. Much fun. I know how to English really well, guys. Really well. Guess she pulled this curtain in more because this is not centered. If that bothers you, I'm sorry, but I'm not fixing it because I can't. These are in marker. I mean, I guess I could put a sticky note over it or a piece of paper, but I'm not going to do that because the mistakes are part of the art. Your flaws are what make you beautiful, as Entrapta from She-Ra says. Imperfections are amazing. I love imperfections. I don't know if that's obvious or not from my art. My art that is full of mistakes. But that's why I like art. 'Tis full of mistakes. There we go. Some walls. I think this is like boarding or something. Paneling, is it? I'm a Sims player, I should know these words, but I low-key really want to get Animal Crossing. I was never into Animal Crossing when it was like super popular because I don't have a Switch. I mean, my brother has a Switch and he lets me borrow it. I was never into it, but I always kind of wanted to be, but I'm also not sure because I don't want to buy a very expensive game and then only play it like a couple times. Even like used copies of Animal Crossing are like not that down. Like they don't really put them on much of a sale, which I guess is fair. Because as long as you have a new Switch, the game will act like it's completely new, pretty much. But, I only have a Switch. My brother only has a Switch Lite. We don't have an actual, like, Switch that connects to a TV, which we don't need. Honestly, we don't. We have a lot of consoles and are very blessed to have that many consoles. I like this. This is good. I think I should draw a little mold star up here. Oh yeah, I've been really liking these freaks lately. They're low effort, but I like them. It's just... yeah. I also think hearing about other people's creative work gives me inspiration for my own. There's this whole idea that you need to be original, but you really don't. As long as you're not, like, just straight up ripping off another artist's work and putting it under your own name and saying, I came up with this when it's a blatant copy of something else, it's alright. You can take inspiration from artwork. It's kind of how it works. Original ideas, it's hard to make them exist. You can have original work because every small detail technically changes everything, but original ideas are terribly hard to come across. I mean, the whole reason, like, genre, I think, exists and, like, that sort of thing is because original ideas don't exist. Alright, what's the next color gonna be? Oh, my pencil case is fucked up. No. Drink my paint water. No, don't do that. Blue. I've been watching, and that's why I always say, watch media, get inspired. Because the more you create, the more you use your brain and your mental library of, like, things and stories and details and atmosphere. So you have to replenish it by watching new shit or reading new shit or anything. For writing, I tend to read a lot. Like, I obviously I get a lot of writing advice from the shows I watch as well, but obviously, I said obviously twice. But there's also the fact that, like, when you're reading a book, your focus is pretty much purely on the writing and how it communicates the story. I've been reading a lot of stuff from classical authors recently, trying to get into that. I've really enjoyed the works of Fyodor Dostoevsky and Osamu Dazai. And I think after I read both of their stuff, I might move on to Steinbeck or Lovecraft. Mostly reading Dazai right now, because I don't like to read multiple authors at the same time, especially from, like, the same genre. I don't know, I'm weird like that. I want to read, like, all of their works and then move on. And I'm not an overly critical person. This is a lot of people, like, I was looking for a quote from one of the Dostoevsky books I read, and I was on Reddit forum, and there was, like, this whole thing of how he's overrated and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is not what I was looking for, and I don't want to feel bad about what I'm reading, thank you. Like, I wasn't even looking for a critique form, I was looking for a quote. I don't know, for me, it's very awkward of how, like, hate-focused we are when it comes to media. It feels like I can't enjoy things without having critique. It's like no one can agree. And there's that whole like, almost fallacy that if something gets too popular, there are going to be people who critique it harshly, because obviously it's not to certain people's tastes. But it just makes the whole experience less enjoyable, which is why I tend to try and focus on the positives of a story, because if I don't mention it, then you can tell what I didn't like. I don't mention them. I'd rather focus on whatever I enjoyed. I think I say that a lot, but it's a sentiment I really want to get across with what I'm doing. I'd rather talk about things that make me impressed with work. So, I mean, recently, I'm not a huge romance lover. I don't really care for romance stories that focus mainly on romance. I'm good with romance subplots, especially if they're done well, but I'm not a huge person of, like, I want to watch this show purely for the romance. It's not really my thing. I like plots driven by mostly, like, mystery or horror, or a grand quest. But, you know, but I try to, because as an asexual, aromantic person, I still have to write characters, and I do write characters who have romantic relationships. And I think the best way to do that, since I don't have those feelings, is to kind of scour what I can from other media, from people who may have had those feelings. in terms of what I've been watching recently, I'm currently watching From Me to You. It is a romance anime. It's 3 seasons long, or at least that's how many seasons are on Netflix. And it is quite cute. I would say it's very similar to Komi Can't Communicate in the style of how it is, because the girl is seen as unapproachable. Now, unlike Komi, she's not seen as unapproachable because she's stunningly gorgeous. She's seen as unapproachable because she's scary. Her name is Sadako, and, well, not actually. She just gets called that. Her name is Sawako. But people call her Sadako after the girl from The Ring. Because she's scary. Which, ow, children, that's so accurate. Teenagers are so mean. They would do that 100%. Anyway, throughout the season and like that I've been watching so far, she's really bloomed, and I think her character development is super sweet. There's a couple side characters of whom I'm really endeared to, and also there was a love rival whose name I can't Kurumizawa or Kurumi, but her first name is Ume, and she hates it, which I find hilarious. And I know why she hates it, because it's technically like, well, in the show she says she hates it because it's like a grandma name and her grandma gave it to her. But for me, I'm like, isn't Ume like how you say syphilis in Japanese? There was like that thing with Daki from what is it? From Demon Slayer. Don't know how that left my head. Demon Slayer, very popular. Anyway, but Daki from Demon Slayer, she had Ume, right? And she was Ume in her human life, and I'm pretty sure that meant syphilis. Crazy work for her to just say, oh, it's an old grandma name when she's really just called syphilis. I'm sorry, I'm so mean. Anyway, but they kind of had a love rivalry. Not really, because Sawako is very dense. Very dense. Anyway, but I actually really enjoyed Ume. I thought, she was going to fall into a lot of the old romance tropes that I hate. I hate when they pit female characters against each other in ways that just, they feel so nasty. But Ume surprises me. I think she's quite funny. Her and Sawako have an interesting dynamic that I laugh my ass off at. I was thinking about something when I was watching like an episode recently, and it's like, do these characters pass the Bechdel test? I don't know if they do. And it's not necessarily horrific for a show not to pass the Bechdel test. I mean, in my mind, it's not that hard to have two female characters who don't talk about men for 5 minutes, but, in certain shows, it's kind of almost a concept. I mean, the whole thing with From Me to You is that Sawako, her life changes when she meets Shota. I don't know, I forget his last name, so I'm just going to call him by his first name like I'm his bestie. But her life essentially changed when she met him, so obviously she thinks about him all the time, because without him, she wouldn't have this life she has. So it makes sense to her, and her friends are also teenage girls who are very focused on boys or their siblings or such. I still would hope they passed the Bechdel test. Maybe they did in the first few episodes. I could be wrong, could be right. But, it's an interesting... And if anyone doesn't know what the Bechdel test is, it's basically like, does a show or story have a conversation between two female characters that does not mention or center around a male character? Yeah, that's a Bechdel test. Because a lot of shows don't have that. Mold. I think that's as far as we're gonna get with this. Alright, we're gonna go to the trash bin now. My favorite part, actually. So let's go get some trash. Trash! Not so much trash, but you know what I mean. We've got this. This is from a hobby of mine. I like to just take embroidery thread and turn it into guts, I call them. Sometimes they look more like moss. I just make them out of all these colors, and I really like them. They're very funny, and I think it'll look kind of good like here or here-ish. Maybe with the mold, but that's kind of close to the binding. I like to put the hangy bits near the edge. Could do somewhere like, and I'd want to hang it probably like this, around this pink part. I think right there. Oh yes, I like that. This little bell from like a bunny, chocolate bunny. I think we'll attach those at the same points. That'll be cute. This packaging from a toy. Might take some of these clouds out and like place them up here or put them on there. I think that'll be cute. Some candy wrappering. Maybe we'll flip it to this side and do something. Ooh, like little sparkles on the window. Yes, I like that. These could go on the window too. Like I could cut these out exactly. Ooh, yes, 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 yes. A Lego piece. I don't have to use everything. I don't know if I'll use this, but we shall see. A little corner of red, I can use that. And these are some Heaven's Official Blessing prints. You're like, why are you cutting these up and putting them in your sketchbook? Because I can. I wonder if I can cut out some of these lanterns. That would look cute. Fox is cute. And then I have a second one here. It's their underwater kiss. Don't think I want any of these bubbles or anything. So I have all the pieces prepped here, and then we are going to cut them out, put them on the thing, and I'll show you the final product. Alright, I'll be right back. Voila! My little sketch page. I had a lot of fun with this one. It was pretty simple, and it wasn't super dramatic or anything, but I think it's still unique enough and fun enough to where I had a good time. Not all the pages need to be standout, but this one's very fun. Alright, I'm Ace. This is my art. I'll see you next time.